Trick or treat, motherfuckers. Welcome to Axis of Combat Podcast. This is episode 34 of the most anticipated podcast in the game. It's your boy, Ray Boogie, the dead one, the holy dead, my co-host,
Hugo the boss. Hugo got next. Blue steel, blue vest. He dead. You next. you already know. Welcome to episode 34, special edition. Oh my god.
I'm sorry, I'm too into it right now, guys.
Welcome to episode 34, special Halloween edition. Happy Halloween to everyone out there. You already know the business. Before we get into any of this hoopla with this card, you already know the business. Like, follow, subscribe, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Everybody enjoying the spooky visuals here. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay up to date.
And for all of our audio listeners, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcast, you already know. And before we get into any of the fights, we want to take some time to apologize to you guys. We missed the last 2 weeks of fights. The Francis and Tyson Fury fight last weekend, which was, oh my God, holy shit. And then UFC 294 the week before that. My brother here was dealing with some COVID scares, and he got over them, but I'll pass it on over to him so he can more thoroughly explain.
Yeah, unfortunately, your boy came down with the COVID, and didn't want to expose my brother, and we just didn't end up. We tried hard. We really tried hard to get a podcast up for 294, but I just wasn't testing negative, even though I was starting to feel a little better. Didn't want to risk it for, my brother or the family, so we ended up just, unfortunately, skipping on the podcast. But we're here for UFC Sao Paulo down in Brazil, as Dom Toretto would say, Brazil. And I think this card's a banger. What do you think, my brother?
Yeah, this card is low-key a sleeper card, for sure. It's a really good card, top to bottom.
Not a bad card for a fight night card.
At all.
For sure.
Kicking off the prelim card, we have Kai Fernandes coming out of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, fighting in the 155-pound weight class, 5'9", no reach listed for him, going against Marc Diakiese, the Bone Crusher, 16-7 record, fighting out of South Yorkshire, England, 30 years old, 155-pound weight class, 5'10" with a 73-inch reach. What do you got for me, my brother, on this fight?
Well, listen. There's not too much footage on this Fernandes cat. And if you misspell his name by a letter, he's also got a brother who's literally got an identical fucking name. So if you're not careful, you'll probably be watching tape on another guy instead of the guy who's fighting on this card. From the amount of fights that were out there for this guy, he's a decent kick. Like, his striking's solid. Let me take that back. His kicking is solid. It's very good kicks. His hands, pedestrian. He wants this fight on the ground. Diakiese, not a guy that I can never really get right when I'm trying to bet this guy. I feel like he's better than he is, but he's one of these guys we like to consider a habitual line stepper. I think Diakiese is probably the side here, but at minus money, don't feel too comfortable betting the guy. And I think this line is close. It's almost a pick 'em, right?
No, actually, Diakiese is minus 162. Fernandes is plus 136.
I don't have a bet at the moment, but I'm going to say Diakiese's the side here. And if there's a juicy prop on the underdog side, I might be taking a shot on that. But I'm gonna say Diakiese probably gets the win here. What about you?
I'm with you on Diakiese via decision, because even if things get a little ugly for him up top on the feet, he's going to wind up just taking him to the floor and just wrestling him, humping him to death, for fuck's sakes. That's what Diakiese does. Like, he just humps legs and sniffs crotches. They got him listed as a striker, but he doesn't really use his striking. I remember the last time he's knocked somebody out. I think it's like 6 years ago or something like that. We're here to rob the casinos of their money. He's here to rob the fans of their enjoyment. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you got the ski mask on, He comes in with fucking colorful hair and all he does is just hump legs. I don't know, man. You got to make it make sense to me. But what I will say is he should win this fight because I think he has more than enough technique to deal with this guy. This guy has really good kicks on the inside, what you said. He's like Justin Gaethje, but he's able to throw high kicks from like very short range, like Jet Li in that bathroom stall movie. I forgot what movie it was. I think it was Unleashed, where he kicked the dude in the head and he was right in front of him. Like, that's very hard to do. He knocked the dude out like that. That was very impressive. So, but I don't think he has the tools to deal with Diakiese. I think Diakiese is just a high IQ fighter, and he's fought the who's who. So,
yeah, I agree. I think Diakiese is the side, but I don't feel confident enough to bet him because, again, like I said, habitual line stepper.
On to the next fight. We have Montserrat, Conejo, Ruiz, 10-3, fighting out of El Paso, Texas. 113 pound. Well, she fights at 115. She should be a anna-weight, to be honest, because she's tiny. 5 foot tall, 61-inch reach, going against Eduarda Moura, 9-0, fighting out of Salvador Bahia, Brazil. 29 years old, 115 pound weight class. 5'6" with a 66 endpoint, or 66, I want to say 66 and a half. They got 66.9 inch reach. What do you got for me for this fight, bro?
I think, what's her name? Moura?
Yeah.
I think she's the side here.
Yeah.
She's going to be the bigger girl. She's going to be the more physical girl. Almeida petitioned and fought to get this girl on this card. I think for good reason. I think this is a bad stylistic matchup for Ruiz. Ruiz, listen, I learned my lesson. I tried to bet her last time against, I don't remember her name.
Amarim.
Dumbass bet. Lost my money on that one. She is nothing but a scarf hold, head and arm choke. She's too small. She'd probably be decent if there was an atom weight class here, because she's like 5 feet nothing.
Yep.
Strong girl, but I think, what's her name?
Eduarda Moura.
Moura's going to be too big, too strong, and I could probably see a finish here. So, but, you can't bet the money line straight, because she's like minus 500 or some craziness right there, right?
Yeah, she's minus 550.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So maybe inside the distance, if you're going to bet it, I haven't really, it depends on the number on the prop, if I'm being honest, but she's the side. Don't know how I'm going to bet it. How you feeling about it?
I'd say inside the distance, and I like Ruiz. She's a fucking dog, but I just think she's going to be completely outclassed by Moura and her grappling. And by the way, Moura's nickname is Ronda. Ill. We have like 3 Rondas. We have the actual Ronda, then we have another 3 young ladies with her fucking name.
Ronda.
Yeah, that's their fucking
now we
nickname.
got a Brazilian Ronda.
All right, yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, so yeah, I think her grappling technique is fantastic. She trains with the guy in the main event, Jailton Almeida, who is a fucking beast. And I think she's going to be able to do whatever she wants on the floor with her. She's going to be able to ground and pound, and she has good ground and pound, and she has a very good and slick jiu-jitsu game. Not higher level than Amarim, but I think if she mixes in with the strike, she might be able to get her out of there, because at least Ruiz lasted with Amarim. No, Amarim actually got her out in the 3rd round. Moura might be able to get it out sooner, because Amarim doesn't have the ground and pound that this girl has. But Amarim has better grappling. But it took a while for her to sub it. But if you mix the two, might come up with something inside the distance. So that's the only way I can see playing it if the line makes sense. But if not, it's going to be a hard pass for me, because, I'm here to rob the casinos. And, if I'm not going to give my money to low-level fights.
Stupid. I'm not going to let you get the chance.
You know what I'm saying? So we got this shit.
Yeah, I think Ruiz's only path to victory here is if she keeps this fight standing. But I think if the fight does get to the ground eventually, and once it gets to the ground, I think it's kaput for Ruiz.
On to the next fight. We have Angela Overhill Kill. 15-3, fighting at the 115-pound weight class, coming out of New York, New York. Hold it down, baby.
Hey,
You already know. Ski mask ways, baby. You already know. We dressed appropriately for you, Angela. 5-3 with a 64.5-inch reach, going against Denise D. Gomes. Oh, it's Gomes. They say it's listed as Gomez, but it's Gomes.
It's not Gomes?
Gomes.
I don't know. I'm asking you.
Yeah, I think it's Gomes. Gomes or Gomes. Regardless, fighting out of Brazil fighting out of Las Vegas by way of Brazil. 23 years old, 115-pound weight class, 5'2" with a 63-inch reach. I'll kick off this one. I think Angela Hill, she can win the minutes in this fight. She can. I just don't know how she's going to be able to deal with the punching power of Denise. Denise hits extremely hard, extremely aggressive. She's going to have the wrestling advantage. And she's basically baby Jessica Andrade. You know, like she fights the same way, throws heavy shots, has pretty good jiu-jitsu, very strong girl, fucking dog. Angela, also a dog, but I just don't know. You know, at 38 years old, you know, I don't know if she's going to be able to deal with, you know, with Denise Gomes, especially after like the Mackenzie Dern beating she took, because she took a walloping in that fight. But we'll see. We'll see. I just don't like a plus 110 line for Angela Hill. If it was like 200, I play it. But
Wait, what's his line?
Minus 135 for Gomes, 125 for Gomes, plus 105 for Angela Hill.
Damn, that's really close.
It's a pick 'em. But that's because people are, you know, depending on Angela Hill to be a fucking dog in this fight and just keep the fight alive and try to keep the fight standing. Plus, it's only 3 rounds. She doesn't have to worry about 5. You know? We'll see how I bet it. The lean is definitely Gomes on my side. How about you?
I'm also leaning Gomes. I just think that this fight is going to primarily take place in the stand-up. And while I think Angela is going to have the volume edge, I think Gomes is going to have the power edge. And this fight is definitely probably going to go to distance, in my opinion. Probably another split decision, so another Angela Hill classic. I might wait to see where this line actually moves, because I thought Angela Hill was going to be a bigger dog. Maybe if Angela Hill's a bigger dog, it's probably not...
It's not the worst bet.
It's not the worst bet in the world, because I do think this is going to be a close fight. But I do lean Gomes, and if Gomes' number comes down anymore, or just stays put, maybe Gomes or just Gomes by decision. Even though I think the finishing upside for this fight probably lies on the Gomes side.
Absolutely.
But I am afraid of Angela Hill's experience playing a factor here, because she has about 20 more fights than in the UFC than Gomes does. She's fought the who's who.
She's a cleaner striker too, to be honest.
And, you know, as much as I like Gomes, I mean, her loss against Luke Boomy does give me a little pause. Just a little pause. But, I mean, the way she's been cleaning out women in the division lately, I think I'm going to lean her for the win. Not sure how I'm going to bet the fight, though.
Agreed.
That's the way I see it.
On to the next fight. Vitor Petrino, fighting out of Santa Luis Maniz Garis. I think that's I think that's how you pronounce it. Brazil.
Man, he's Brazil.
It's Brazil.
He's Brazil.
205 weight class, 6'2" with a 77-inch reach, going against Modestas Bukauskas, the Baltic Gladiator. Fighting out of Buckinghamshire, England. 205 pounds, 29 years old, 6'3" with a 78-inch reach. I like Petrino here for a lot of reasons. I don't like his line very much, you know, making it very difficult for me to put the ski mask on and rob the casino.
I agree.
He's lined at minus 218, but I do like his upside to win this fight. He's kind of like, you know, he's kind of like these new cars that come out nowadays. You get the new Acura RDX. The car turns off when you stop at a stoplight to recharge so it can continue forward and preserve the battery of the car and the life of the car. He's the same way. He throws bombs, hits extremely hard, puts his combinations together very well, very fast fucking hands, very durable, and kind of like will look like he's blowing his load, but then he kind of comes back and and looks better the next round or in the second half of the round. It's very interesting with him. I don't know how Bukauskas is going to deal with him because Bukauskas is very low output. He's kind of a builder, but kind of not really. And I don't know. I don't know how he's going to be able to deal with Petrino's pressure between the wrestling and the striking. Petrino's going to put pressure on him, and Bukauskas is going to be very uncomfortable the whole fight. And with a guy who hits like that, I mean, against a guy who's been knocked out before, who's seen the dark side, who has been to the place you've been to with that mask on, I don't know if I trust him, as a dog shot here.
Where have I been in this mask?
Hell.
What's hell?
The place where the dead go.
Hell.
What do you like, bro?
I like Petrino here. I do think the fight should be lined a little closer. I do think Bukauskas is going to give him a little trouble. Only because Bukauskas knows how to kind of like fight safe and point fight. Like if you like the Bukauskas side, I think you bet him by decision. But I do think Petrino hits harder. Petrino's got the faster hands. Petrino's got the grappling upside. Bukauskas' takedown defense isn't the worst. So that's going to be pretty interesting to see. But I overall, I just think Petrino is going to be too much at home in Brazil. And Bukauskas just a little too low volume, a little too safe. He doesn't really fight for your money. But that being said, the line for Petrino is probably a little too big. So this is going to be, I don't know if this is going to be a pass for me overall. Don't know how I'm going to bet it. But I do think Petrino is the side here.
On to our next fight at welterweight, 170 pounds in the UFC. Elizeu Zaleski. I'm stuttering through this guy's name. How do you pronounce this guy's name? I'm going to say Zaleski.
Hold on. Oh, it's Elizeu
Zaleski.
Elizeu. Where's the Dos Santos?
I know. That's just throwing me off.
It's Elizeu Zaleski.
Capoeira. 36 years old. Oh, God. 36 years old. 5'11" with a 73-inch reach. Going against Rinat Fakhretdinov. The Gladiator, fighting out of Russia. 32 years old. 6 feet tall with a 74-inch reach. I like Fakhretdinov in this fight. Zaleski, he has very slick jiu-jitsu. Very slick punching power. Like he's very good all around. Very good fighter. I just think he's a little over the hill, to be frank. I think Fakhretdinov hits very hard, wants to get there, but does have the ability to take this fight to the floor as well. I think he's better at controlling the wrestling exchanges as opposed to Zaleski. It's a very interesting fight because Zaleski can pull it out. I just think they're lining out Fakhretdinov, for future fights, for better contenders, to be frank. I don't like this line. I think it should be lined a little more closely, which is why I am definitely interested in possibly a dog shot.
I agree.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with it. Don't know how I'm going to bet it. Fakhretdinov's the lean. What about you?
I think Fakhretdinov is also the side. I think his wrestling is going to be a little too much. His resume is not the best. I mean, I think his best win to date is probably Brian Battle. If you're asking me, my opinion, for Fakhretdinov. That being said, I think Fakhretdinov's striking is a little underrated. I still give Zaleski the edge. I think he is the better striker. Both durable guys. Both powerful guys. Zaleski, got to give him the edge in the jiu-jitsu, in the jits. But I think I'm going to lean Fakhretdinov here because he's the younger guy, but he ain't the It's not like it's a wide age gap like the Gomes Angela Hill fight. Like there's like a 15-year age gap there. For this fight, it's only like maybe a 2 to 4 year age gap here. But Fakhretdinov is the newer face to the UFC. The line is a little sus. Don't like the money line too much. We'll definitely be looking at props when they drop. Not terribly mad at anybody who decides to take the dog shot on Zaleski. Zaleski is a beast. And he's coming off of back-to-back wins or from who's the last two guys he just beat? I can't. I'm blanking here.
Who? Fakhretdinov?
Abukbar and Benoit Saint Denis.
Oh, Zaleski.
So, I mean, depending on where this line goes, this definitely could be dog or pass. I'm gonna pick Fakhretdinov for the win, but again, depending on where the movement of this line goes and where the props lie, could be a Zaleski bet. But there's no bet for me at the moment. And yeah, that's all I got for this one.
On to our next fight. At bantamweight, 135 pounds, Daniel Marcos Sancora, 5'7" with a 69-inch reach, fighting out of Lima, Peru, 30 years old, going against Victor Hugo, striker. That's his nickname. What is he, in the X-Men? He can't abduct Wolverine? The fuck is this? Fighting out of Santa Catarina, Brazil, 30 years old, 5'7" with a 71.5-inch reach. What do you got for me for this fight, bro?
What's the line on this fight?
It is,
if you don't mind me asking. I'm curious.
Victor Hugo is plus 205, Daniel Marcos minus 250.
Okay, so I think this fight is going to be way closer than the line indicates. I'm not the biggest Marcos fan. I don't think he won his last fight, in my opinion, against Davey Grant.
Agreed.
Just putting it out there. I thought he lost that fight. That being said, he did show patience. He did show that he's a crafty striker. He's got decent takedown defense. I'm going to say he's the side. I'm not too really impressed with the stuff that I've seen for Victor Hugo here. If Hugo makes this a messy fight, I think he's got a chance to win. I would rather try to fade Marcos. I just don't think this is the spot. I think he gets the win here. I don't know how he gets the win here. And I don't know. This is another fight that I might consider passing. Just depends on the props that drop here. But Marcos is going to be the side for me. I'm going to pick him to win. And I think maybe by decision. Don't really have too much on the Victor Hugo side. I don't think he's anything insanely crazy at the moment. So, don't know. What about you?
Yeah, I'm on the same side as you. I think Daniel Marcos is a little overrated. I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like they're trying to pump up, the Peru's fight scene by making this fight, because Victor is a little wild. He has to make it a dogfight to win this fight. I agree. This fight's going to be a little closer than this because Daniel Marcos can have the tendency to be low volume, which he was against Davey Grant. And until he shows me otherwise, it might be a big fucking stay away from me, to be honest. But we'll see what her props drop, and we'll see where it is. But I'll give Marcos the lean because I don't like Hugo. This is not the guy, in my opinion, to fade him with. I agree. With that said, Daniel Marcos is the lean. Don't know how I'm going to bet it.
Yep, I concur.
On to our fight to kick off the main card. Lightweight, 155 pounds. Ismael Bonfim Maheta, 5'8" with a 71-inch reach, fighting out of the Federal District of Brazil. 27 years old, going against Vinc from Hell Pichel, 40 years old, 5'10" with a 72-inch reach, fighting out of Simi Valley, California. I like Bonfim here. I think Vinc is over the hill, to be frank. I think this is going to be an easy breakdown for me. The Bonfim brothers are really good, to be frank. Not like as much as I think. I think media hypes them up a little bit. I think Ismael is someone to fade at some point, possibly. Even his brother. to be frank. But they are talented. They are very strong strikers. They have very good jiu-jitsu. I just don't know if I necessarily trust their ability to put punches together as well as their fight IQ sometimes. They fight a little wild still, still a little raw.
Well, I mean, we seen that with the Ismael fight when he fought Benoit Saint-Denis.
Oh, man.
Where he kind of just invited the chaos and wasn't ready when the chaos came knocking.
No.
Benoit Saint-Denis whooped his ass.
Yep. And we'll get more into Gabriel later in this card because he is also on this card. He's higher up on the card. Co-main, and I'll talk about what I see with him. But for this fight, I like Ismael. Vinc, good pace, does everything kind of well, doesn't do anything overly bad, doesn't do anything bad. His striking is very slick, always pretty in shape, doesn't fight too often, so I'm anticipating he's going to be pretty excited to be fighting in Brazil. I just don't like his age, and I don't like that sometimes, he seems to always be on the end of some split decisions. Sometimes his doing, sometimes not rightfully so. I thought he beat Marco Madsen when they fought. Fuck Marco Madsen, overrated as fuck with that Greco-Roman background. Fuck him. I was waiting to fade him crazy. I faded him against Vinc. Vinc won that fight. They didn't give him the decision. But I expect this fight to, if it is competitive, it's going to be close. And I don't expect it to go Vinc's way. But I expect Ismael to probably do what he's going to do. Either stop him or do whatever he wants to him, to be honest, unfortunately, because I like Vinc. I think he's a bad boy. But what do you got for me for this fight?
Yeah, I'm on the same side as you. I expect Ismael to roll here. I think he learned a hard lesson, playing with some fire when he fought Benoit Saint-Denis. I think he comes in a little more tactical, a little more structured, kind of like the way he did when he fought Terrence McKinney. The reason why I don't like Pichel here is because I feel like I can't see a scenario where Pichel is like dictating the fight.
Correct. Or
leading the fight in any way. I feel like his best chance to win is just to look for an opening. And when you're fighting the younger guy, the faster guy, the more athletic guy, it's kind of, it's not a good way to look for a win. And if you're betting and you got money, you don't want to put your money on a guy who's sitting there and just waiting for an opportunity while he's getting beat up. And that's kind of the way I'm seeing the fight play out. I think Ismael, like I said, is going to come out a little more calculated. Maybe even take Pichel down. A lot of Pichel's losses are to guys who can grapple. Even though I'm with my brother, I thought he beat Marco Madsen. But, this ain't Marco Madsen here. Maybe Ismael's a guy to fade later. I don't think Pichel's the guy to fade him with. I'm riding with Pichel here. I'm riding with Ismael here. I think Bonfim rolls here. Don't know how to bet it at the moment. Waiting for the props to drop. But that's the side I got.
Our next fight on the main card at 185 pounds, middleweight, Rodolfo Vieira, the black belt hunter, 34 years old, 6 foot tall with a 73-inch reach, fighting out of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, going against Armen Superman Petrosyan, 33 years old, 6'3", with a 71-inch reach, fighting out of Armenia. I'll be honest, this line looks delicious. And you know why this line looks delicious? And I'm going to roll up the ski mask and throw the hood on for y'all real quick. Throw the hood on for y'all real quick. Let me take care of this real quick. My bad. I almost robbed myself there. You know what I'm saying? Holy shit.
Run the pockets, boy.
But I like this line for a couple of reasons. It's minus 112 to minus 108. I'm going to be honest with you. It's time to fade Rodolfo Vieira. If he's not fighting the Cody Brundages of the world, he's not going to look good. And Cody put fucking mitts on him in that round, that fight, the first round.
Listen, Vieira's got a very impressive jiu-jitsu background.
And physique.
He's
jacked.
He's definitely been in the waters of Rio. Soaking them in, drinking them, consuming, maybe even pissing it. Who knows? And yeah, I'm with you. I think I think you're on the Petrosyan side here.
100%. This might be max bet worthy, low key. I might put a little bit up front, wait for the first round, and then live bet Petrosyan after, because I think that Rodolfo's best chance is to get him early. I don't think he's going to get him early. Petrosyan's takedown defense is pretty good. He had a tougher fight, in my opinion, against Crease Leroy Duncan, even though it's a completely different stylistic opponent.
Yeah.
Petrosyan showed poise in that fight, a lot of patience, and was able to pick him apart and win the fight. I think he's going to do the same thing here. He's the bigger guy. Yeah, he's not a world champion jiu-jitsu grappler, but the thing is, like, I think he's just fought better guys, and he's given some of those guys a lot of trouble, because he's a very slick striker, knows how to stay on the outside, is not going to get tired like Cody Brundage. And I think eventually Rodolfo Vieira is just going to fall off a cliff with the cardio from just spamming him with takedowns, because his striking hasn't caught up to his jiu-jitsu or his physique. Let's just keep it 100. He's not there. He's made incremental improvements, and those incremental improvements are not going to be enough to get it done against Petrosyan. I like Petrosyan here a lot, and I definitely think I'll say it now. He's going to be betted on for sure. I think he's going to get a bet from me for sure on my side. So
I agree. What was it? Rodolfo, I think his best shot of winning, if you like the Rodolfo side, is early. I do agree. Probably by sub. But I got a weird feeling Petrosyan, I think he's always kind of slept on a little bit, low-key. He can be taken down, but I don't think he's the easiest to put out. I think he survives the first round. And then I think if he has a similar game plan to, like, Chris Curtis, obviously he don't got the takedown defense Chris Curtis got. But if he's able to just stay on the outside, leg kick, frustrate Vieira, he can get the win here. I like Petrosyan, probably by decision. I wouldn't be too surprised at a finish, but I do think Petrosyan is the side here. Is Petrosyan the dog?
No, he's a favorite.
How much?
-112, man.
That's actually not bad.
I think I can confirm on this podcast he's getting a bet from me. The's no question.
Yeah, I like the Petrosyan side a lot. I think Rodolfo. This is more of a test for Rodolfo than anything. I think if Rodolfo gets over Petrosyan here, then I feel like this is probably his best win in the UFC. But I just think Petrosyan has got enough to survive the first round and either outpoint or finish him late.
Yes.
So.
Agreed.
Petrosyan's the side for me.
Our next fight also at 185 pounds, Kyle, the Natural Borrajo, fighting out of Sao Paulo, Brazil, 30 years old, 6'1" with a 75-inch reach, going against Abus Magomedov, 33 years old, fighting out of Germany, 6'2" with a 78-inch reach. I love Kyle Borrajo. I love him. But
ooh,
I smell some dogs barking here. For a couple of reasons. Abus is the more dynamic striker. He's going to be the better striker by far.
Agreed.
He's fought technically the better guy in the competition. He fought Sean Strickland on, short notice, lost the fight. Now he's the current champion.
Not a bad loss.
Not a bad loss. It aged well as fuck.
Aged very well.
He's going to be the bigger guy. He's the more experienced guy. And if you want the real, he's the better wrestler, I feel, for a lot of reasons. He has the option in his toolbox. Let me not say the better wrestler. He has the option in his toolbox. I think he has better control on the floor. And the thing that I don't like that Kyle Borrajo does, even though he is going to pressure him and make him uncomfortable, he likes to play off his back too much. And he's not really too much of a threat off his back. He kind of just likes to control, kind of go for submissions, but kind of not. The only thing I don't like about Abus in this fight, he's kind of taking this fight on short notice, if I'm correct. Scares me a little bit.
His gas tank also scares me a bit as well.
Correct. But it's 3 rounds as opposed to 5. sometimes that can fuck with you mentally, especially when you're going into a main event against a high class, high level guy. But I think he can win minutes here controlling Kyle on the floor. Very strong. We've seen some of his footage before where he's picking dudes up and just slamming them and then holding them there for the whole round. And Kyle doesn't really scramble to get up, Now Kyle's striking has gotten a lot better, so I would not be surprised if he does win this fight. He is the lean, but I definitely feel like the bet has to be Abus here. It has to. At plus 215, like 3 rounds, you're telling me we just need him to win 2 rounds? It is Brazil, but I think he is dynamic enough of a striker to give Kyle a lot of trouble. I also think his wrestling is good enough to put Kyle on his back and hold him there. And then his size alone should be able to hold him there. So I like Kyle as the lean, but Abus is definitely probably going to get a dog shot bet here. What about you?
Couldn't have said it any better myself. I think pure pick, I think Kyle does win this fight. But at plus 200 and up, I think people are quick to forget that Abus whooped Strickland's ass that first round.
And took him down.
He beat him up. He won that first round.
And took him down. And Strickland is hard to take down.
Now, he might have probably blown his load, pause, and Strickland was able, listen, Strickland is
he's a 5-round fighter.
He's a dog.
He's a 5-round fighter.
He's a 10-round fighter.
Yeah.
Strickland can go. But if you're telling me that he's fighting a guy now in Kyle who likes to play off his back, not the best defensive wrestler, arguably, I think Abus might be the better striker here.
I think he is.
I think the striking is probably a little even, but I think Abus is probably the better striker.
Correct.
Definitely the better wrestler. Not the better grappler. But we've seen in Abus's past fights where he'll just lay on a guy for a whole round and beat him up on the ground just like that. At plus 200, all I need is 2 rounds and he's just got to survive a third. I like the dog shot on Abus Magomedov.
By the way, Kyle Brahalho, a guy who only has 1 finish in the UFC.
Yeah.
And people were giving him that criticism his last fight, and he made sure to get it. And I think he's going to have a hard time getting it against this guy, unless he just falls off a cliff with the cardio. But the thing is, he could also knock out Kyle, too. I can definitely see that shit.
I mean, listen, I'm not saying Kyle can't win, because there's a good chance Kyle could end up on top as well.
Yeah, and if he gets on top.
And if he's one of these, like, again, this fight comes down to who comes on top.
Hey, yo.
Whoever's on the bottom is getting dominated. And whoever's on top will be dominating.
Pause.
So, I like Abus. I think he's just a good dog shot.
Great dog shot. Only thing I don't like about him is the last minute notice, but we can get over that straight up. It's 3 rounds. It's not a 5-round fight.
Yeah, no, it's not a 5-round fight.
I think he learned a lot from the Strickland fight.
I agree. And again, that's a fight that aged like fine wine. So,
on to the feature fight of the main card at heavyweight. Rodrigo Nascimento, fighting out of Brazil, 265 pounds, 6'2", with an 80-inch reach, going against, oh boy, our podcast favorite, Lord Kong, Dante Almeida.
Oh, brother.
10-5 record, 262.5 pounds, 6'6", with an 81-inch reach. Listen, Rodrigo Nascimento, because Dante Almeida is fucking...
Horrible fighter.
This is the easiest breakdown ever, guys.
Oh my goodness. And don't get me wrong, listen, Nascimento, he's nothing to fucking get excited about either, right?
No,
but
he ain't the bee's knees either.
But he should be able to win this fight. He's the better grappler. He's the more dynamic striker. Dante Almeida, big guy, doesn't really hit fucking hard. Can wrestle, but kind of chooses when to wrestle. Terrible fucking fight IQ. Fade him. What do you got for me, brother?
Okay, so I got Nascimento here. Easy. I tried to bet Dante Almeida one time. Then I try to bet him again like a dumbass.
Get the fuck out of here.
You know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Never again. Don't tell on Don Tail. We never betting this man again. Nascimento should win here. I don't know why the fuck this fight is even the featured bout.
And it's a rematch.
And it's a fucking rematch.
The rematch nobody asked for.
This fight should be on the prelims.
Yeah.
This fight sucks.
Sucks.
I don't want to see this fight. This is the fight that comes on and you go and get your nachos and take a shit. Get your beer, get your nachos, go take a shit. Go walk your dog, watch your dog take a shit. That's probably more entertaining than this fight. Fuck this fight. Nascimento wins. I'm not betting. I'm probably not going to bet this fight either way, but I'm definitely not betting Dontel Mays.
Fuck that guy, man.
Fuck Dontel.
Snoop Dogg's security guard, by the way, ex-security guard, and Snoop Dogg doesn't have a lot of good things to say about this guy, so I guess he couldn't even do his job properly.
Trash and ass.
Oh my goodness.
Don't tell on Dontel.
Our next fight, the co-main event, at welterweight, 170 pounds, Gabriel Bonfim Martinia. I think it means small hammer.
Little hammer.
Little hammer in Brazilian, even though he's the bigger Bonfim brother.
Because he's the younger one.
Yeah.
But he's the bigger one.
He's the bigger one.
He's got the bigger hammer. Hey, yo.
Fighting out of the Federal District of Brazil, 26 years old, 6'1" with a 72-inch reach, going against Nicholas Dalby, Danish Dynamite. Nicholas Dalby, 38 years old, 5'11" with a 74.5-inch reach. I'll keep it real with you guys. Bonfim should win this fight. He should.
I agree.
Younger, stronger, faster, more explosive. But I will tell you guys, to get Nicholas Dalby at plus 455 right now, Nicholas Dalby is a fucking dog. Fought the who's who, fought the much better band of competition. Decent grappler, not easy to submit. Very good defensive wrestling as the fight goes on. And underrated striker, in my opinion. Knows how to put his punches together. And a tank of a man, realistically, at this weight class. He's a little shorter, but he cracks. And he knows how to put his punches together. And he knows how to stop fights when they need to be stopped. A lot of people were fading him against Muslim Salikov. Excuse me. And he buried him. I made a lot of good money off of that bet because not only did I live bet him, but I also pre-picked him. If you guys tuned into that last podcast when we did it.
Yeah, you was all over Dalby on that one. I give you all the credit for that one.
All over him. Now, do I think Dalby's going to win this fight? No, I don't. But at plus 455, a guy who is not bad anywhere, very fucking durable, against a kid who, and this is the criticism I have for Bonfim, very slick jiu-jitsu, nasty on the floor, very good head and arm choke series, very good guillotine series. However, he's going against a guy that's not going to overextend, will know how to stay on the outside, and Bonfim, not the best striker after the 1 and 2. So after the 1 and 2, my boy turns into Trevor Peak, and he'll start throwing fucking axe handles at you. And we've seen in his last fight. His last fight, he fought, what's this guy's name? He fought Trevin Giles. And yeah, he did stop him in the first round, but Trevin did have his moments in that fight for, few brief moments, like 1 or 2. And once he started unloading on Trevin, he kind of went 1, 2, hammer fist. Trevin ducked into him and then got his neck wrapped up. I don't see Dalby doing that. Dalby's a more compact fighter. Dalby knows how to sit at range a little better. Dalby's also a fucking dog. And Dalby knows how to deal defensively with those wrestling positions and grappling positions a little better. I just think at 455, it's insane. I think that's an insane line. And I'm more than willing to play it. Should Bonfim win once again? Yes, he's definitely the lean. You want to parlay him? I wouldn't parlay him, but if you want to parlay him, I understand it because you're not going to bet him at minus, 400? He's almost 500. Minus 625. So I was completely off by 100, which is crazy. You can play him. I understand it. I just think at this line, Nicholas Dalby, he's got to be the bet. What about you?
I don't feel as enthusiastic as you do on the Dalby side. I do think Bonfim, this is the better Bonfim, by the way.
He is.
I do think he wins, and I do think if he wins, he might be the first guy to finish Dalby here. But that being said, the line, speaking purely from a line perspective, I do think the line is a little crazy.
Crazy.
Just considering how durable and how smart Dalby fights. I don't hate the dog shot. I really don't. I don't know if I'm gonna get there. Maybe this is one of those things where I'm probably just gonna wait a little bit, see if the line moves up or down a little more, gets a little more disrespectful. Also probably wait for some what do you call that? Like media day scrums, and I would like to see the weigh-ins. I just want to, this is one of these fights where I kind of want to see everything before I commit. Because I do think Dalby is live. But man, Bonfim is a motherfucker.
He's the goods, for sure.
He's really good.
He's the goods.
And I am picking him to win here. But I do not hate your Dalby dog shot. Will I get there? Possibly. At this moment, I'm still kind of sitting on the fence a little bit on it. But I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all.
Tall task with Bonfim in Brazil. So I'm not going to disrespect. But the thing is, Dalby can't stop this guy. And the thing is, Bonfim doesn't really go deep into fights. So I would like to see Nicholas push him into those deep waters and see how he reacts.
I am curious about his gas tank.
Everyone is. Yeah. Everyone is. 100%. I think Dalby can get him there. He can get him there. Not saying he should. He can. He will. But he can. For sure. It's definitely possible. So.
Yeah, Bonfim's the side for me, but no bet.
On to our main event of this weekend at heavyweight, 265 pounds. Jailton Almeida, fighting out of Salvador, Bahia, Brazil, 32 years old, 6'3" with a 79-inch reach, going against the Black Beast, Derrick Lewis, fighting out of Houston, Texas, 38 years old, 6'3" with a 79-inch reach. This is originally supposed to be Jailton versus Curtis Blades, which I think was a much more intriguing fight, to be frank.
Yes.
Because Curtis could challenge him with the wrestling, and you want to see who's the better wrestler in the division. I think Curtis is, to be frank. Jailton's the better submission grappler. But now we have a new main event, so we're going to talk about this one. Black Beast, dangerous for anyone in this weight class. Has that one-punch nuclear option or knee against anybody. Jailton does shoot a little bit from the outside a lot. Does project his shots the same way Curtis Blades did when Derrick Lewis landed that big uppercut on him and put him out. Bad. Do I think Jailton's going to win this fight? Fuck yeah, I do. I think he's going to be able to get him to the floor. It's going to look a lot like the Sergey Spivak fight. However, Spivak knows how to set up his shots a little better, knows how to get into the clinch a little bit better, knows how to get to the fence a little bit better. Jailton, if he makes those improvements, he should be able to run through him. However, Jailton panic shot against Rosenstruck and then kind of worked his way up from the bottom to get Rosenstruck down, you know? Jailton is definitely the side, and I will be picking him, betting him inside the distance, but I will be putting a little bit, depending on what the line is, for Derrick Lewis via knockout in the first round. Because it's very possible. He's one of the few guys in history that can do that. Like, that would comfortably play that. But Jailton, definitely the side. Good on top, good ground and pound on top, good submission game. Strong, heavy as fuck, tosses around middle, anywhere between 205, two heavyweights, tosses them around like fucking babies. This guy is the future of this division, along with like Tom Aspinall and a few other people. Could he get it done? Should he get it done against Derrick Lewis? I'm going to say yeah. Will he get it done? Could it be possible that Derrick Lewis gets him out of there? 100%. Jailton the lean, going to be probably betting both sides here just because of the line and playing the line and hedging and making sure that we adequately collect this in this bet. Ski mask way. You already know. You see how I'm dressed up today, motherfuckers. I ain't playing no games. What you got for me?
Well, I probably couldn't have said it better myself. This is one of the perfect fights to, hedge both ways, I feel like, in my opinion. Pure fight point, I think Jailton is the side. I think Jailton does win. But man, there's a reason why Derrick Lewis isn't a bigger dog. And they know the reason why Derrick Lewis isn't a bigger dog is because he's got that one hitter. The knockout king in the UFC. And he's shown he can do it with both hands and his knees. He can get you whichever way. I think probably the best way to bet this fight is maybe parlaying maybe the under 1.5. Like if you're on one of these particular sports books where you can do like a single game parlay, for instance, you take the under 1.5 and parlay both guys essentially. So you take the Jailton money line parlay with the under 1.5. I think that hits. Or if you like the Derrick Lewis side, the under 1.5 with his money line, I think that hits. I think it's a good opportunity to hedge. And just to cover both bases, I do not think this fight gets to the third round.
No.
So if you want to bet maybe fight doesn't start round 3, I like that a lot. There's a possibility it gets to round 2. I don't see it going past round 2.
No.
I think either Jailton gets his club and sub, or Derrick Lewis gets his knockout round 1 and either survives round 2. But either way, this fight's not going the distance. I do think Jailton's the side here. Am I picking him with the most confidence? Maybe not the most confidence,
But a good amount.
but a good amount of confidence. But I've learned the hard way. You never count out the Black Beast.
No.
Never count them out. And again, this is another one of these fights where you kind of wait. You want to wait until weigh-ins to see if he comes in as good a shape as he did in his last fight. I know this is a little short notice for Derrick Lewis, so he might not be in the best of shape. But if he's anything similar to his last fight, I think that just even, pushes the side of him being a live dog for me even more. But that being said, Almeida's a beast. Almeida's the future. Almeida probably would have rolled Curtis Blades as well, in my opinion. It's an interesting fight. But this fight is even more interesting because arguably Derrick Lewis is the bigger name. And a win over Derrick Lewis probably catapults him straight into the top 5. If he wasn't already heading towards the top 5 already, which he was, but again, Derrick Lewis is a very good name to have on your resume. I do think Jailton's the side. Probably the bet is to hedge both ways. I'll say either Jailton sub or Lewis KO, both probably in the first round. Maybe the lines are even juicier in the second, but this fight does not get to the third. And I think there's going to be a good main event for as long as it lasts. That's just the way I feel about this fight.
And that just about wraps it up for episode 34 of the Actors of Combat podcast, the Halloween edition, the ski mask way. You already know the business, ladies and gentlemen. Like, follow, subscribe, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Everybody watching the visuals right here, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, drop another damn comment, feed the algorithm, show love to the YouTube.
And for all of our audio listeners, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts. Like I said, guys, $3.99. That's what these bets are. That's why we got these masks on, because we're ready to rob the casino with you guys. Free subscriptions, free content, $3.99.
Give me all your money.
And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys hear any stuttering during this podcast, we apologize because these masks aren't exactly the most comfortable.
If the audio sounds bad, particularly on my end, I apologize. It is hot as balls in this fucking mask. But I did it for you guys. I wore this fucking mask. It stinks. It's hot. It looks kind of cool. I can't see shit. That's why I had my brother take the lead. I had no glasses. But, I don't know where I'm at. I'm delirious right now. I'm about to go rob some kids for candy. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to scare the shit out of them and take their candy.
Give me your candy.
Give me your candy. Anyway, we back. Sorry for the last podcast or the lack of, COVID's a son of a bitch. But, we back. We're going to get back on the winning track. We're going to stay rolling in the dough, getting that money, securing the bag, never fumbling, always securing.
Put down the candy and let the little boy go.
Happy Halloweens, everybody.
Happy Halloween, ladies and gentlemen. Fuck off and get your candy and don't rob children. Bad messaging on our part, but...
No, don't rob kids. Don't do that. I'm an asshole. I'm sorry.
Rob them when they're not looking. Episode 34 of the books. Holla at y'all later. Peace.